Good afternoon and welcome to another edition of Social Media Help Desk. I'm your host, Tiffany Lundberg. I'm joined by content editor Jessica and assignment project manager Alexandra. Hi. All right, we have a lot to talk about today. So one of the first things that we're going to talk about today is LinkedIn. There's a couple things that are going on with LinkedIn. They have a new feature, and then we're also going to talk, Jessica's going to dive a little deeper into this, a little bit more about how to network on LinkedIn, because we know that's such an important site for that. Alexandra is going to take us through, she went through a mentorship program. A lot of us here went through mentorship programs, and you partnered up and someone was the mentor, the other person was the mentee, and you learned a lot about different aspects of digital marketing, because there's so much that we do here. Yeah. So you're going to dive into that and what you learned about Google Analytics, which can be a pretty scary place if you've never been there before.
It's very robust, and it gets bigger the further you get into it.
But you had a great teacher.
I did. Yeah, I did.
And then of course we're going to talk about the social media news of the week, because there is always something new in the world of social media. So we're going to start off of our news segment with Facebook. So they're adding 3D photos, which they've already had that. Right. It launched in 2018, but it was only if you had portrait mode on your phone. So now that they're saying that they've taken their AI technology, and don't ask me how they did this, because I have no idea, but they are saying that they're now able to turn those 2D images into the 3D images on the devices. So what do you guys think of that?
They always freak me out when I come across them. Every single time I see it, and I'm just like, it's like shocking. I wasn't expecting it, and so I don't know if people start using it more, maybe I'd expect it more. I don't know. I don't think it adds anything for me personally, but I guess if you're trying to do something cool, could be good for marketing purposes. Like if you have something really neat that you want to show in a different dynamic, then yes, I can see that. On my personal Facebook, I think I'm okay.
I think it could be cool for marketing for real estate. Like if you want to show a full house or something and you want to get like a full picture of it, I think it would be neat to be able to see, actually how big the house feels besides just that picture that you typically get. So it could be cool from a business perspective.
That's a great idea. I know that you've done some work for some clients with
I think that would be a great way to really get a good feel of what the house actually looks like.
Yeah, it definitely would. I've only ever seen them. I have a puggle. So of course I'm crazy. And I follow the dog pages. Yeah. So that's when I see them the most, that people are posting pictures of their dogs outside, which are pretty cute, but I've never actually tried it myself.
I haven't either.
So we'll see if I see more puggle pictures. But yeah, definitely I like that aspect of thinking along the lines of it really would help your business, something like real estate.
Yeah.
All right, so the next thing in social media news, Pinterest is adding a new app. It is called Pinterest Lite.
Okay.
So I Googled this because I wanted to learn a little bit more about what Pinterest Lite was. The Pinterest Lite came up. The second image was actually Miller Lite. So it's interesting. Okay. So but I guarantee you, Pinterest Lite is actually a thing. It's a new app. So it's supposed to help users have a more uniformed experience, because they're saying it's really growing internationally, and so they're trying to create an app that takes up a little less space on the device, but that most features will still work. Okay. So they want a more uniform platform across the globe, really. So, I mean, are you guys active on Pinterest?
I am, but it's interesting because I didn't know that these light apps existed, because Instagram and Facebook has them too. And so when I saw this, I looked it up as well. I actually ended up downloading the Facebook app because it takes so long typically for the actual main app. So now I use the Lite and it's much quicker.
So it's much quicker, so it really works.
Yeah, it does work.
Okay.
So I use Pinterest. I love Pinterest, but I know there's a lot of features that Pinterest keeps adding on to what you can do in like purchasing and how you're getting to things. Does the Lite app impact any of that?
I think it's supposed to help you. So it does say that it helps you like download or upload things more quickly when you have a slower internet connection.
Got it. Okay.
You want like a recipe or something.
Yeah, so they want to make sure that makes sense, because they want to make sure that, notoriously Australia is known for having slow internet speeds, so they want to make sure that they can get on their phone and download quickly.
I did not know that.
It's Australia. Australia apparently has really bad internet speeds.
All right. Well, good for you, Australia. Pinterest Lite. All right. Next, we're going to talk about LinkedIn. So we have a couple things to talk about today with LinkedIn. The first thing that we're going to talk about is what's in the news. So they're launching their Stories product rather. So right now they're just testing it internally, but so they're thinking about kind of jumping on that bandwagon that we've seen. We know Instagram stories, super popular. Facebook stories, I mean,
I mean, they're there.
They're trying. Yes.
Have either of you ever used Facebook stories?
I have not. I've watched Facebook stories, but I personally have not used
I've
it.
never done it on purpose. I know I've definitely accidentally posted on accident, and then I just didn't bother changing it.
You posted
and then,
on accident?
Oh, I absolutely did. Because you know how sometimes it asks you to like to post, and it's like, do you want to put this to your story?
Yeah.
And I just didn't uncheck it to do that, and it just went there anyway. I've stopped doing that since. So I'm turning old apparently, where I'm getting to the point where I'm forgetting to change settings. And then I only ever watch them if it's somebody I like. It's got to be really compelling in the first 3 that I can see on the app,
Yeah.
and then I'm like, okay, never mind.
I understand that though. When you try to mess around and you try to learn something new,
Yep.
sometimes you actually don't click something you don't need to. Just remember to delete, I guess. Yeah, so anyhow, LinkedIn is actually going to jump on this stories bandwagon. They're saying that they're hoping it can create more casual conversations. We know it's a pretty business type social media app. So they're calling them break room talks or coffee outings. But I think the concern is that it is used in a very professional manner to make business connections, and that might take away from that. What are your thoughts on that?
I think that it would be okay if somebody knows how to do it right. So I can think of, there is a social media real estate influencer, Tom Ferry, and he is very all into the Facebook Live stuff, and he posts that kind of thing where he's like walking around a house and giving advice on how other real estate agents can do their marketing. And I could see that, like, for someone like him who's a personality, he goes to conferences, he's someone who's a speaker, and then he gives, advice on running your business or however that might be. Being able to use that story platform as a way to get a little bit more casual interaction so that someone might find out, oh, I do want to go hear this person speak at this conference. Like, I could see that kind of person. I don't know how it will do in much more, like professional service spaces where I don't know how someone would use it that way. At least not yet.
Right. We don't know all the details. I don't know all the details. I don't know if they're going to have all the stickers and all those features.
That'd be a bad idea, probably.
And that's what I'm thinking too. What do you think, Jessica?
Well, I know that they rolled it out a couple years ago with college students. So the goal is that they saw younger professionals and those who are still in college who were using Instagram and Facebook who were utilizing the stories, which we are not for Facebook, so it makes sense that we probably didn't know about this. But they did roll it out with college students, and it was pretty successful, so I think they're still trying to see if it'll work. But I think it does make sense for the younger generations as they grow in their careers. For older generations, maybe for like conferences or something, if you wanted to show off, your booth or something, but I think it would have to be explored a little bit more.
Yeah. Someone will come up with an interesting way to use it.
I'm sure.
And whether that catches on or not, but someone will do something interesting with it.
We'll see. Can't wait to see. All right, we're still sticking with LinkedIn now, and now we're going to talk about, we're talking about it's a more professional setting for businesses to connect, for people in the industry to connect. So you're going to talk, Jessica, about really how you should network on LinkedIn and some of the things that you should keep in mind.
Yeah, so LinkedIn is a really powerful tool for you as business owners and just as professionals in a career. There's 600 million users on LinkedIn currently. So there's a huge network for you, whether it's for your small business or just, like I said, you as an individual. There's a lot you can do with LinkedIn. If I had the time, we could go on forever, but we don't. We actually just had our social media boot camp too with LinkedIn. Lila did a great job speaking with local business owners and telling them how they could really optimize their profiles. So that's something that we do, I think it's 3 times a year, 2 times a year, social media help desk, boot camp. So if you're looking to do that, I would check our website. But one of the first things that you should do if you're looking to network on LinkedIn is to optimize your profile. So if Alexandra's looking for a job, hopefully not, in project management, we love her here.
Stay.
Put me on blast like that, how dare you?
She's our project manager, so she's most likely not going to want her headline to read that she loves tacos, per se.
Probably not.
Because someone who's going to be looking for a project manager is going to be looking for someone in the search engine, and they'll probably type in project manager, and we'd hope that Alexandra would come up. So making sure that you have those keywords in your headline are super important for LinkedIn, as well as throughout your profile as well. Speaking of your profile, it should be completely filled out. So as much information that you can give without turning it into a formal resume, but really depicting who you are as an individual, professionally, and if you want to add kind of who you are outside of work as well, just to get a full, well-rounded feel. I think that that's very important too.
Adding in those skills. I think that becomes difficult though, because there is a fine line between just pasting your full resume, but you want people to know the types of things that you've done. I know I kind of changed career paths and I put my job titles and I just assumed that people knew exactly what that entailed, but I sat down with someone that, you know, writes resumes professionally for a living, and she said that I really needed to go and break down the kinds of things that I did and show, you know, where those skills could be utilized in other areas.
Yeah.
So that's a good point.
Yeah. And then another thing to fully optimize your profile is make sure you have a professional headshot. So as great as selfies are, I think those are more appropriate for Instagram or Facebook, whereas for LinkedIn, you really need a professional headshot.
Yeah, that's good advice.
Yeah.
Also, what about using hashtags? Is that important?
Hashtags are important. Hashtags, you can follow them and you can also add them to your posts as well. You don't want to overuse them because you don't want to overwhelm your viewers. But hashtags you can follow, so anything, let's say you're in the food and beverage industry and you can follow hashtags that align with that industry and keep up with current trends and news, and also share articles where your posts will show up in those hashtags as well for other people that follow those same hashtags.
And we want to talk about building a network too. That's so important. They say it's a good idea to kind of include a short elevator pitch and for you to follow people within your industry and connect.
Yeah, so when we network, it's really important that not only are you connecting with people on LinkedIn, but you're also, when you're sending those connections, just like you would a friend request on Facebook or following a company on Instagram, it's important to add an elevator pitch or a small description of why you would like to connect with them. So maybe someone referred them to you that you both know personally, that can really leverage a connection so they feel comfortable adding you to their personal network. So that's one way to really set yourself apart from other people on LinkedIn as well, is really personalizing when you interact with others.
I like that. I don't think I have, you know, they always say to have that elevator pitch in your head. I don't think I quite have that down.
I don't think so either.
It's hard to do.
It really is.
I'm chatty, that's my problem. I'm not a talker. I'm like, oh, you need like what, 2 lines? I don't know. I'll have to work on it.
Self-editing is hard.
Yes. It can be, yeah.
All right. So speaking of you being chatty, we are going to talk about the mentorship program that you were a part of. You and Lila gave a presentation. It was great, but it seems like you really learned a lot from it.
I did. It was really cool. So we have a mentorship program here at KWSM that we do internally. So it's really neat because it doesn't matter what level of management or how long you've been here. You can either be the mentor or the mentee. It does not matter. I got to mentor one person. I got to be the mentee of someone else. And so that was really, really neat, and to be able to see what everybody came up with. And so what I asked about was I want to learn more about the really nitty-gritty of Google Analytics, because we build websites here, and there's a lot of times where I'm looking and seeing, okay, I know the tracking's here. I can kind of find out how often people are on the site and what pages are more popular, but I was going, I need to make sure that these are functioning better, and I need all of the nitty-gritty details to tell me about that. And so Lila was my mentor, and she did a wonderful job because she is kind of our guru when it comes to analytics. That's one of her favorite things to do. And so I got to sit down with her and really hash out what I wanted to learn and what my goals were at the end of it. And she helped me achieve those goals. And there was actually some really interesting things we came up against, even together, where we found like roadblocks that we were able to come up that like fix, you know, stuff like that. And so there's a few takeaways that we want to go over, and just in particular that I think are really important. And these are all applicable to you as a business owner and why Google Analytics is important. We have another blog that was written about how to start Google Analytics on your website. So that might be a good place to start. And so that one's actually linked in this blog. So that's a good place to go.
I like that.
So first of all, the thing you really want to know about is goals. Setting goals through Google Analytics is going to allow you to understand where conversions are happening. And so that conversion is going to be different for any business. Sometimes it's a form fill. Sometimes you might just want them to go to a page and stay on it for a certain amount of time. There are so many different ways that you can do this, but it's important to have, because you need to know when a conversion happened and the path that someone took to get there. This is good because it's not just, oh good, someone clicked and did the thing I wanted them to do. What guided them to that spot, and why are other people not getting there also?
So it's like those pop-up ads that we see sometimes when they ask you to fill out your information. Is that what you're talking about?
It can be that, but goals can actually be even more detailed than that. It can be something as simple as someone clicked a specific button on the website, or you can set a goal for someone watched a video on my website. So you know, again, it's like goals can be anything. It doesn't have to be a specific, like, I need them to become a lead, but you might want to know, is someone watching this video and am I getting engagement on this video?
Right.
It's on my website, I need to track that that's working. Or did they take these 3-page paths and I know that they went to each one of these? And so it kind of depends on what you're looking for. We recommend to start with is just set up a goal for your contact form. Get a thank you page up there and have a goal for that, and you'll know exactly how someone got there and how they did it.
You like that because then you know what to do to bring people to your website if it's working, if it's not working.
Right, exactly. And so that's another point that we actually get into is talking a little bit about your decisions for what you do on your website and how you run your business has to be data driven. You can't just make assumptions. There's a lot of times that we have to, in our industry, put ourselves in the shoes not only of the people who are coming to work with us, but who are their clients. I sometimes have to become someone who would, go to a certain kind of medical spa, or someone who's looking for maybe some kind of lawyer or something along those lines. And I may not have been in that situation myself, but I need to put myself in those shoes. And then once I do that, then I can decide, okay, what data is going to drive that, and how am I going to know what to do with that information? And so that's one thing that we found actually as we went through and we're doing some looking at the data that was coming through for our Video Studio Day pages. So we do Video Studio Day here and in San Diego. So Orange County, San Diego. We will have some in Atlanta if you're watching from Atlanta, where we have people come in for half an hour and do a video shoot with us. They get 4 videos. It's really fun. It's really quick and easy. It's a good intro if you've never done video before. But I wanted to know exactly how well that page was performing and where people were getting stuck. And I wouldn't have been able to do that if I didn't know to set up what goals I needed to set. Was the process, like, were they getting stuck putting it in a cart? Were they stopping somewhere? And that's where that data came in handy, is we were able to go, okay, maybe this headline needs to be different. Maybe they just don't know what the next step is supposed to be. And so that's where that data decision goes, because in my head, yeah, sure, they should just show up and sign up. That's easy, right? Maybe not.
So what did you learn? Now I'm interested.
So what we spent like an afternoon looking into this, and it came down to ways to simplify our checkout process of what is the easiest way to get them from point A to point B, and then to make sure that the data, like the information that we were giving, was pointed out in such a way that was easy to understand. We found that we didn't want to overwhelm them with too much information, and they could find out more if they needed it. So really the first thing was checkout process. Those are always ones that are a hang up for people.
Right.
And so we were able to take a look at that and make improvements and make sure that they were getting to the place they wanted to get to.
That's so interesting, because I know, being a beginner to Google Analytics, I'm sure you can say too, it's very overwhelming.
It's a lot.
There's a lot that goes into it.
Yeah, there's a whole lot. Well, it's not only that. I'm going to talk about one other thing, because this is another thing that why it gets overwhelming, is Google Analytics starts out with just giving you every piece of data that has crossed through your website. It dumps everything at you. And that includes even, like, we spend a lot of time posting blogs to our website and going on there and looking at things. I look at things all the time. We make updates to our site, which means there's a chunk of data in Google Analytics that's internal, and that's skewing our data. Because we might be spending more time on our website, like way more time on our website than someone else would.
Right.
And so that's actually an important part of it, is creating filters and being able to say, okay, I'm going to exclude my IP address, or we'll also exclude our Atlanta office's IP address, our Las Vegas office's IP address, and maybe if it was a client, we'd go, okay, I don't want my information on there, but I also want their office off of there, because I need only pure data of where it's coming from. And so that's part of it. It is so muddy. It can get really, really, really deep and huge, and being able to change out those filters and go, okay, cool, now I know exactly who's only incoming traffic, and I have another filter that lets me play around and test things and see if my tracking is working and try and figure all of that out. And so these are kind of top level things that I'm talking about here. It's not necessarily the exact, like, here's what you should be doing. But like I said, we have a lot of resources on our website that talk about analytics and different things that you can set up that actually give you specific goals that you can set and specific filters that you can set. So this was kind of the overall of what I learned, which was really cool, and being able to apply it now to more of the websites that we build, and looking forward even. So later on we can look at their performance and say, okay, what can we change to see how we can conversions better.
Right, and it's so important for a business because, I mean, I guess social media, people think, oh, it's so simple, you just build a website or you post something on social media, but really there's an end game in that, and the end game is that you want people to, come to your business, you want people to buy your product, whatever that you're selling or promoting. So by using something like that, you really are able to pinpoint where that audience is coming from. So important. Now, you were also a mentor.
I was a mentor.
Can you tell us a little bit about that? I know Kaysen, she was your mentee. She's behind the camera right now. And using the skills that you taught her.
She is. I'm so proud. I got to do that too. It was really fun. So I was able to, I also run the video department, and so that means I go on video shoots. I'm planning video shoots with clients. I've got a whole bunch of them lined up, including things like Video Studio Day. And Kaysen wanted to learn more about the process of that. And it was really fun because this is the kind of lesson you can learn, and it's very hands-on. You get to actually go out in the field and be like, all right, you get to see how much equipment is behind this camera. And so, that was really, really neat to be able to go out and bring someone with me and get to show off a little bit about like, hey, this is this other part of the business that we do that is meant to help supply more content to our clients and other ways to get conversions and get their story out there. It was just really, really fun to be a part of both sides of it. And I would encourage anyone who is watching this and either is looking for, hey, if you're looking for somewhere to apply to, we are hiring. We're always hiring the right people. And this is a really good benefit, I think, to anybody who would be looking for a job in digital marketing.
And Kaysen's nodding her head, applying her video skills right now.
With confidence.
Yes, of course. Well, and you were talking about Video Studio Day earlier, too, that you help run that program, and you really make it so simple. We make it feel comfortable and simple, and people have to remember, I know that they're scared to be on camera sometimes for the first time, but it's not live. It's not like this. We sit down, you ask questions. You make sure that you wear the correct thing, that your hair looks okay, your makeup looks okay.
There's a lot that goes into it. So with Video Studio Day, like I mentioned just briefly before, it's a 30-minute slot. We're able to produce 4 videos out of that 30 minutes. And I would not say that we could do that if I wasn't confident that we could do that, which tells you that anybody can do it. And you have people to coach you through it. I am going to be behind the camera. I'm going to be walking you through the questions. I'll be coaching you on how to answer those questions. Sometimes you'll give an answer and I'll go, okay, great. Do it again, and I want it this much shorter, and you're going to hit these points. Like, we will get you to the place you need to go. You don't have to think that you're going to be perfect on camera. And that's why this is such a good place to start, is that it's a really low-key environment. You don't have to feel like it's super stuffy. It's a lot of fun. People always come in and have fun. A lot of times it's business owners that know each other from different networking, and they'll come and like talk to each other between sessions of each other. It's really, really cool. We coach you through like what to wear and how to stand, and we make sure the lighting looks good, and I go through and I actually research your business before you show up, so I know what I'm looking to ask you, and then I ask you a bunch of questions. I send you the questions beforehand. It's really cool. It's really easy. Our next one is March 19th. It is in San Diego. You can visit our website to sign up on that beautiful landing page that I was telling you that we did some analytics on. If you have problems with it, I guess tell me, and then I can address that with that same data information.
But we'll know where they're coming from, right?
We will know where you're coming from. We will, yeah. So, if you are interested in that, but again, if it's an Orange County, we also have them. It's every quarter we do one in Orange County, San Diego, and then we'll alternate between like an LA or an Inland Empire, depending on where the need is.
Yeah, if you're thinking about it, it's a great place to start. I know people, again, as I mentioned, they get really nervous when they find out they're going to be on camera. But the way to get better is by practicing. And you can practice in a safe environment, that's going to be simple and easy, and you guys make it better.
I think too the benefits outweigh, the nervousness that you might feel from being in front of the camera. I mean, how much video content has become so much more of a necessity in social media. It's so important.
We should know that. We post it every
Yes.
day. All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us this afternoon. Remember that we will be here every Tuesday. So again, next week on Tuesday at 12:30 Pacific time. If you missed us, you can also check us out on our YouTube channel, so you can see all of our past social media help desk. Thanks for joining us, and have a great afternoon.